Woe to those who call good evil and evil good.
Yeah.
And we're living in those times right now. And that is why Lions Awaken is created, because we will call good good and we will call evil evil.
Hello, welcome to the Lions Awaken show. Today is January 6th. You might be listening to this a little bit later than January 6th, but it is a anniversary that many on the left are calling a day that is worse than 9/11, or worse than, what was the other day? Pearl Harbor. That was another big one. So today we have Mr. Rusty Greenmyer with us. Thanks for joining us, Rusty.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Rusty and Caleb were at the January 6th event, rally, as we would call it, not a riot.
Peaceful protest.
Riots, you can look at BLM and Antifa, not January 6th. But yeah, I guess you guys just want to share your story, what actually happened, because the main narrative out there from all the main news things is just, they make it sound so horrible, and it was the worst thing ever. And listening to some of these Democrats share this morning on live coverage, it's all emotional. It's all just so no facts whatsoever. What actually happened? But you guys were there, yes, on the ground, boots on the ground.
We were on the ground. We were on the lawn,
yep,
of the actual Capitol, of the main building there,
the front lawn,
and the front lawn, and people. There was like a sea of people, right? Old people, young people. There's people just putting up lawn chairs, chilling, relaxing. They were just, the main thing that people were doing was making a statement. This is our building. This is our country. This is our nation. And we're not going to let corrupt politicians ruin it. We're not going to let corrupt politicians steal the election, steal our votes. They were just making a statement. That's all it was. It was not what the media presents it to be, like this whole, again, what you were saying, Matt, if you want to see riots, go back 2 summers ago and watch those BLM riots that were happening in the streets. Those are riots. Those are not peaceful protests. What happened on January 6th was a peaceful protest of a bunch of patriots getting together and making a statement.
Yeah. So you said there were a bunch of patriots getting together and making a statement. How did you say they were making a statement? Just by being there?
Their presence.
Just
their
by
sheer
being there.
presence, the numbers, just being there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to add, many of them, including myself and Caleb, I didn't know anybody would ever go to the Capitol. We were just there to, honestly, I went there to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the Lord lead me to go there to pray on the mall. I have video of that. And then later on, I learned that Trump was speaking. So it was really interesting. I was like, Trump's speaking, and then Caleb got a hold of me, or I got a hold of Caleb. I think we seen each other. We're there.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Maybe on social media, and we're like, well, let's meet up. And then
So you didn't even go for the rally. You just went up there to pray.
Yes.
Dang.
I went for the rally,
right,
and I went there also to pray, but
yeah,
primarily to protest and stuff like that. But yeah,
I didn't actually personally know that Trump was speaking that day. I would have went if I knew that, but it just so happens that I was there, and that was a bonus. And people were there to support President Trump, really,
absolutely,
and pray for our nation. We were there to intercede. We knew that Vice President Pence was, maybe we didn't agree with what he was doing at the time, so he was praying against, interceding for that, praying against that, and it just so happens that it all came together. But I was there for the whole entire day. I got there early in the morning, and I never heard anybody saying, let's go to the Capitol, or let's do this. So that they were just praying and talking and gathering, and there was many flags. It was like a sea of people.
It was a sea of people.
It was really
thousands upon thousands.
It was beautiful. It was peaceful. It was orderly. People were picking up their trash. It was
very family oriented too. There were so many families there. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Of every race and creed and color and people. It wasn't just this narrative that they were trying to put out at all.
So what you're saying is there wasn't a bunch of armed insurrectionists there, just that
white
went there
insurrectionists
just to take over the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you came back and you were like, the atmosphere was so peaceful.
That's
it
right.
was just so
it really was
calm and another thing.
It was joyous.
Another thing that I hear a lot is that Trump incited all kinds of insurrectionist rhetoric in his speech, but you guys both listened to it.
Yeah, we were
What was his
standing right
speech like?
You want to go?
Well, it was all positive. It was like he was just rehashing all of his accomplishments.
Yeah.
It was positive. He was encouraging Vice President Pence at the time to do the right thing and all that stuff. He not once incited violence. He not once incited, if Pence doesn't do the right thing, then you attack the Capitol and you take over everyone and you kill these politicians. No, none of that happened at all. It was all peaceful.
To give a little bit of insight into that and a little bit, we actually left from President Trump speaking because we were cold. Just being honest, we were cold and a little tired and hungry. So we literally went and got pizza. We weren't going straight to no Capitol. Neither was anyone else.
So Trump's speech didn't want to make you to go to the Capitol and just take it over.
No, we went to have pizza.
That's
literally, it was so peaceful that we wanted to go eat. We wanted to talk about what he said. We just wanted to be in that environment. And then later we heard on the news there's something going on, and we're like, what is going on? It was kind of shocking and took us by storm. And then I got a phone call from my family. Hey, there's something going on there. Where are you at? And we're like, well, we're driving back from getting pizza about 5 blocks away, maybe.
Yeah, we were like 5 blocks. And I'll never forget, Rusty's like, dude, they took the Capitol. And I'm like, let's go. Yeah. So we drove around finding some parking, and we finally found some parking, and then we just headed straight to the Capitol to capture it.
We literally parked right in front of on the side. Right?
It was on the side, yeah.
Right on the side, and walked across a couple lawns and just stood there with thousands of people.
Yep.
So thousands of people were already at the Capitol by the time you guys got there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was there a lot of security? Or I guess you say the lawn, is that usually open to the public?
Yes.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, people don't really just chill on the lawn.
Right.
Though. Like
it's not something you'd probably usually do.
Yeah.
I don't think. But,
No.
I mean, you can walk on the lawn. I don't think there's any problem with that.
Yeah.
Because there was construction
Machinery and stuff.
machinery. There was a big forklift. There was a construction office, and people were just kind of gathered around that.
Yeah.
And there was people doing, going places I will agree they probably shouldn't have went.
Yeah.
And just being honest, but I don't know who these people were, and I know that they weren't acting like the people we seen earlier.
Yeah, tell us, because you overheard like some guys that were dressed in some. Yeah, you seen and you overheard them. Yeah, like they were dressed in kind of riot type gear.
They were dressed in camo and had backpacks. Yeah. They were
just their demeanor.
Was off.
Like they weren't Trump supporters. You could tell they were.
Yes, because Caleb had to leave to catch his ride home.
Yeah,
and I had my own, so I stayed for probably about 45 more minutes and just observed. And when I was walking around, I was just watching people and listening because I was like in the moment. I'm like, this is significant. This is something like this is significant. I remember making the comment to Caleb, hey man, you should probably like maybe talk to some people or get some video, because in the back of my mind I'm like, this is history. Mm-hmm. And so I stayed a little bit longer, and then I watched these guys, and they had this one guy was trying to get through a barricade, and I'm like, man, this is not cool,
Where was the barricade?
It was by the scaffolding. There was a bunch of scaffolding, if you remember right.
Was that like before the steps?
The scaffolding was actually on the steps.
On the steps.
Yeah.
I think it was just to the side. It was just to the side.
So when you guys were there, that was before they broke in the door.
Well, that's hard to say. I have no idea.
There was people in and out while we were there.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen to finish that off. I just seen these guys, and they're like, "Hey, I got a screwdriver," or I got. They was talking to each other, and he said, "I have a ratchet set for that," and I was like, well, "That's weird. Why do why would you come here with a ratchet set?"
It's like they were prepared. Like,
they were prepared. Yeah, and it didn't register until later. But I was like, "Why do these guys have backpacks full of tools?"
Right.
And it just didn't sit right with me. I was like, these guys, this is something else. Mm-hmm. Then they don't belong with us.
Did they look like military type or no?
That's hard to say, honestly.
Like, were they just a bunch of skinny
guys?
Men.
Just grown normal guys. They had some camo pants on, I think.
Yeah. But why would you attend a Trump rally with a backpack full of tools unless you were planning on
exactly.
something?
There's really no doubt in my mind that those guys, whoever they were, they came with that intention. Mm-hmm. Or there's no way to go home quick enough to do that. They came with an intention to take apart barricades.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But the girl that got shot though there,
Ashley
Babbitt, there was way more people like her at this protest that were just disgusted of what happened with the election and stuff than there were, I believe, these type of guys. Yeah. So I mean, you can't just broadly paint a brush of all these guys were just Trump supporters doing this. Like, there's different motives for different groups of people. There's thousands upon thousands of people there.
Yeah.
Right. So there's different motives.
So if everybody would have went there with the motive to take over the Capitol, you could have easily done that, because there was like 1 million people there. I heard.
I said a lot. I said this: if the Capitol, if we wanted to burn the Capitol down, it would have been burnt down.
Right.
If they wanted to take the Capitol, it would have been taken.
It would have been taken. Absolutely.
But it wasn't.
I'll take it a step further. I don't mean to interrupt you.
I'll go for
it. When I did decide to leave, about maybe 50 minutes after Caleb and them left, it was over. We heard over speakers, and you guys need to disperse and go home. Mm-hmm. And literally, I just walked to my car, and I sat there for like an hour, and people would just walk to their car. It was just normal people, family members. Right. They literally everybody was gone. I think within an hour and a half, all those people left. No fighting. No, nothing. They just got told to leave and they left. That's not a riot.
Right. Yeah. And people call it an insurrection. An insurrection is actually when you achieve something and you insurrect and you like take over the government building, right?
Right.
Yeah. The people didn't take over the government building. They went in, which there's a lot of videos out there that literally show security guards and police officers letting them people in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, on a normal day,
some even encouraging them to come in, which is really weird.
And I really encourage you listeners and viewers out there to watch Tucker Carlson's documentary he put together it's called Patriot Purge. Mm-hmm. You can just Google it. I'm pretty sure there's like different websites out there that have it. But man, it really opened my eyes. There's literally documentation of that happening, of police officers in there saying, people were coming in and they just stood back and they said, this is a sacred place. Just don't try to break anything. They just stepped back and let them.
Yeah.
But yet the FBI is going around and literally breaking into people's homes that they have footage of people being inside, putting them into prison, making them political prisoners. But the cops let them in.
Yeah.
None of this adds up. And when you look into, Tucker Carlson brought up a little bit of the psychological warfare tactics and the false flag tactics. Mm-hmm. It's all planned. When you think about it, it makes so much sense of how they planned this to further make Trump supporters and Donald Trump look horrible. I remember I turned the TV on that day. I would have went with you, but me and my wife were going down for a wedding to Florida. And I remember going to the hotel that evening and turning on the TV, and I've never in my life heard so much slander and hatred against one man. Mm-hmm. Everything was Donald Trump, hate. It was just disgusting. It made your toes curl. It was just evil.
They made him out to be like worse than Hitler.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. They literally did.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is it was planned. It was planned to make it look like, conservative Christian right-wing people did that. And I just, with everything in me, don't believe that is anywhere near the truth.
Right.
That they came with a plan, and they my personal belief is that they infiltrated. They made it look like they were Trump supporters wearing the hats, but they didn't really fit in, and they're the ones that took in. And I do think some people that were there probably got caught up in it and went where they shouldn't have. And that's, that's neither here nor there.
Speaking of that, in that Tucker Carlson documentary, there's this one guy holding a video saying, I can't do anything. I'm being pushed in with the mob.
Right.
Like they would have either trampled him or he had to go in. He had no choice.
Yeah.
And so when they started going in, I mean, if you're in the middle of the crowd, you're not just going to turn around.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. It was interesting to be a part of in history. I remember leaving and I just felt sadness. I honestly felt sad because I felt like we had lost freedom that day. Why? Because in my spirit and in my heart, I felt like I knew that President Trump was not going to be in office anymore, and that we had just witnessed basically a coup and a takeover. And I'm just speaking personally.
A coup by Joe Biden.
Yes, by the left, not by the. Why? The conservatives were already in charge. Why would we, have to do that or anything? Right. It is like a reverse. They just came in and planned it to the T. And I don't think that there's any reason to believe that they wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. They go pretty far to, do what they need to do and get where they need to be. That's my opinion. But it just felt sad. I remember driving. I think I went through Alexandria, and I stopped and sat in my car, and it was just a surreal moment where I was like, I think we just lost the presidency.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was a correct feeling. We did.
Yeah.
It made conservatives look bad and put us in a bad light, and it wasn't what it seemed. That's what I believe. It wasn't us.
When everybody that was there just loved their country and loved
Peaceful.
their fellow man, and they just wanted to be there to make a statement, like you were saying.
Yeah, they just walked around.
And they went home labeled as domestic terrorists and extremists. Yeah. Labeled that.
I actually met 2 people on the train ride home, to get to my car, who got shot by rubber bullets.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. And they, like what Rusty was saying, the whole train ride, like the people that were there, it felt very sad. They felt very sad. They felt betrayed. That was the main thing that they said. Yeah. They said, I feel betrayed right now. Mm-hmm. And they just had a hate towards Pence that I've never seen before. Wow. But yeah, the main feeling I got from, these patriots was betrayal. That they felt betrayed.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of why they went there. Mm-hmm. A lot of why conservatives were there, because they felt like Pence
was their last chance to make a statement.
Yeah,
because that was the day.
Peaceful stand to say something.
Right.
But yeah, this whole narrative that they went there with this conservatives went there to overthrow the Capitol. That is such. It's not true. Mm-hmm. And if they wanted to, there was so many.
They could have
it would have happened.
Right. I mean, if you guys would have actually went for insurrection, that actually means taking over the government. That's not at all what you guys. I mean, you didn't even. No. It's all emotional. Everything you hear from the mainstream media is just so emotional and just so. And it's funny because you hear them talk, especially when they were going through the impeachment trials, and listen to the Democrats tell their story today on January 6th. It's all about the founders and the Constitution, and such a. Joe Biden even quoted him. Yeah, the Bible says that when you know the truth will set you free.
Lord.
Oh, who are you talking about here, bro? Yeah. And it's just
even Satan quoted the Bible.
Yeah, when it fits their narrative, they'll quote.
That's exactly
Jesus
right.
himself.
It's just crazy, the attack on American conservatives, and like Dennis Prager says, the future for this country does not look positive. Or what did he say?
That's a good quote.
A positive future for America is not guaranteed. That's what he said. That's a quote from Dennis Prager. There you go. I got it right.
Yeah. There's a lot of, even in my heart, there's a lot of unease, not knowing what's going to happen or what the Lord wants us to do. He doesn't want us to sit quietly by while what I believe is Marxism, and socialism infiltrates, but what do you do? What do you do when the voting system breaks down? What do you do when the most powerful man in the world is easily
usurped?
And fences are put up, and how the Lord showed me is we have fences around our house. We can't go there. We have our borders. There's no fences, so anybody can come in. And I'm not opposed to people coming in the right way, but anybody can come in. Mm-hmm. We can't go to our house, to the Congress. We can't go up to the steps. We're locked out. And then, we've had the ships that hold all of our belongings and everything that, all of the supply are just at bay out in the ocean. And I know that's probably lightened it up, but it just looks not good. It looks like there's people doing things and we're not paying attention. They've locked us out of the house, opened the front door, and said, "No, we're not. You can't have any of your food or any of your goods either." So what does that look like? That looks like a takeover, a coup.
Yeah,
it looks like we are not in a good place. That's my opinion. But
it looks like a tyrannical government establishing itself.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it straight up is.
That's such a positive note, guys.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be,
I mean, that's the reality we live in right now.
I mean, that's why we have Lions Awaken.
Exactly.
But there's
Speak the truth.
Yeah, there's can't forget that you can't fool the Lord. You can't
Exactly.
you can't
That's
outsmart
right.
what he's doing.
The Lord laughs at this.
He laughs
I mean,
at
Right. He's sitting on his throne.
justice is
laughing.
coming. Justice is coming.
Yeah.
This stuff
It
is
just
all
looks
noted.
a little. It might look a little dark.
I'll believe on that. I'll stand on that. That gives me hope. Justice is coming.
That's right. Winter's coming. Yeah, but so is justice.
Yeah, I always want to side with hope and faith and justice. Because the enemy. What I hate to polarize our own government, but it just looks like we're polarized right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and this is a
Been
fight between
polarized.
good and evil. This is not a fight between parties. I mean,
No.
Unfortunately, evil is using the Democrat Party to further their agenda. You just have to look into the communist history and how they infiltrated the party and how they're taking over. I mean, everything they're doing is their tactics. I mean, you can just look at it.
Yeah.
And but there's a lot of American people that aren't dumb. They're not falling for it, and they're ready to fight, and they showed up on January 6th.
And that's one thing I was going to say too. Like at the end of the day, I'm glad that all this stuff happened because it exposed so much more of the enemy's schemes, of their plans, of who the puppets are of the enemy. Like, would any of us think right now that Pence was, a coward if that wouldn't have happened?
No, I loved him.
Yeah, I did too.
I couldn't believe that he would do that.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Most people did, like that were on the right or whatever. Conservatives. I don't like saying that on the right, but at the end of the day, I'm glad this happened because it exposed so much, and I think more and more people are waking up to it.
Yeah,
which is good. So
because I mean, these people that listen to these leftist channels, they have conservative friends, and they're like, they're not wicked. They don't want to overthrow their government. They just love their country. They don't want to stand for what's right.
Yeah, they just want babies to live.
That's right. That's it.
Right. Just being real.
Keep more money in my pocket, babies to live. Like
just law and order.
Yeah, law and order.
Police to.
I mean, Trump literally said we are a party of law and order.
Yeah, and that's really what you see. If you were there that day, and I'll say it till, I go to heaven or God comes back and gets me. That was a peaceful time. And anybody who wants to argue with me in the world, I was there, so we can have that conversation. It wasn't what you say.
You're here.
It wasn't what they're saying. It was. There's always tares with the wheat. There was tares there, and they're the ones that did that.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. But I seen it, so
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to highlight about when you guys were there?
I saw Forgiato, the rapper, which is kind of cool.
Really?
He's wearing like a Skittle vest. He was on top of the forklift. He was like making some sort of. He's like,
is that who that was?
Yeah. He's like friends with Bryson Gray and some other.
Forgiato Blow.
Forgiato Blow. Yeah.
I did see
they're right. Yeah, you're literally right beside me. I'm like, yo, that's Forgiato.
I remember you saying that.
I got a video of him, and he was like telling his camera guy, yo, get a video of me on top of the forklift. And so he went on top of the forklift, and the guy's like doing a video on him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Have they taken the fences down yet, or are they still up?
I have no idea. I think they're down.
I think they're down.
Yeah. I mean, just the thing of fences. I mean, that is all signs of a coup.
If Trump ever did what Biden and the Democrats did, then you could say, you know what, you guys, you're right. He is kind of fascist. He is kind of a tyrant. Right. But because they did it, it's in the name of liberty. It's in the name of democracy. It's
in the name of the founders and the Constitution.
Yeah, that's right. When it fits their narrative.
Yep. And it's funny because Nancy Pelosi she just hates Trump and the January 6th things. But yet when a Christopher Columbus statue was taken down in her hometown, she was asked questions. She's like, well, people do what people do.
Oh, really?
And then Kamala Harris was seen on video a couple summers ago saying, I can't believe not more people are taken to the streets. They need to make themselves known and do stuff, because of this injustice.
Maxine Waters, she said the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
Maxine Waters calls for violence.
Yeah, she basically called for violence.
But yet, on the January 6th, when the only deadly shooting that happened was, at first was the Ashley Babbitt thing. And at first I was like, well, I mean, I had this thought of, well, she kind of barged herself through a door. But after watching that documentary with Tucker Carlson, how they exposed the whole thing, how the cops just stood back, let her go, and they never issued a warning or anything, and how also it was an inside door. It wasn't even the outside door to the end. That's what I thought at first. But then I found out they were already inside the building, And this was just a door to another thing. And he just went up and just shot her. And then he
No
backtracked
warning,
also.
no nothing. The guy didn't give her any warning or anything. He just shot her right in the head.
That was cold-blooded murder.
It was cold-blooded murder.
And she was a veteran.
Yeah.
She literally
Young woman.
defended for these people's freedom that hate her.
Yeah.
They're the reason they can have freedom and be in that building is because of what she did. She sacrificed her. I mean, she wrote a blank check to protect them and protect us.
Yeah.
And it's like they're like, oh, well, she was trying to get in. People were already in.
Right.
So why not shoot all the other people that were in there?
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous.
And the biggest thing is there were cops all around her.
Right behind her,
And
literally.
right behind her. And if they wanted to stop her, they could have. But the thing is, they moved away and they let her go and let her be shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what you do. When you talk to people that comment on that, they say, that's not police protocol.
Yeah,
and the person
not at
that
all.
shot him, he backed away and ran away. And they say, that's the last thing you do from police protocol too. If you shoot somebody, you go and minister first aid and stuff. But just everything about it is just.
And I don't
listen to your stories and just all the other evidence. It just doesn't add up to what mainstream.
I didn't see it firsthand but did you guys see the video? It was a real video that all those vans pulling up and letting people out.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there was people coming that weren't even there.
The whole thing was fishy. The whole thing.
It just seems fishy. I mean, we don't know the whole inside now how it happened, but it was definitely looks set up to make another party look bad, another group of people look bad. When it doesn't line up. I mean, everybody there had babies, and there were, old men and older women, and husbands with their wives. I mean, this is not what it looks like to go and overthrow government.
And
if you're gonna go overthrow the government, you're gonna have
you're gonna have a young guy,
strong men with guns.
That's what I mean.
Exactly.
There was old grannies and kids with lawn chairs just chilling right there.
Yeah.
Just enjoying, it was almost like a barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like everybody's just like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. This is weird that we're all standing on the Capitol lawn, But it wasn't with a heart or intention of malice.
No.
I mean, I've been to 2 Trump rallies, and both Trump rallies, it almost has the atmosphere of a church.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Jesus, love our country, and it's just so much peace and joy, and it's so much camaraderie and like-mindedness.
It's like a concert.
There was people there, their kids were playing and running on the mall. There wasn't this militant mindset.
Not at all.
It didn't feel like that at all.
Right. And to go back to Ashley Babbitt, I just want to highlight how cruddy and how despicable the media is.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, you had back in
George Floyd a hero.
I know,
and they make her a villain.
That's right. Like, and the cop that shot her was black, and obviously race doesn't matter, but to the media it does. Mm-hmm. And it's like if that was a white cop and a black, maybe Trump supporter, they probably still wouldn't have covered it, maybe. But I feel like they might have highlighted that. You know what I mean? But because he was black and she was white, it's like, who cares? Her life doesn't matter. And they're just the mainstream media is so despicable.
Corrupt.
They're so corrupt. Oh my goodness.
If you'll notice, they focus on the most, biggest character, which was that guy with the buffalo horns and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't even think he is
he was
a conservative person.
No.
Yeah.
He's been at Antifa rallies.
John Sullivan is another guy. He literally has a website called Insurgents USA, and he's an agitator.
Mm.
And
is that the one that went to Pelosi's desk?
No,
that's a different.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, actually, in this documentary, he interviews the guy who put his feet on Pelosi's desk, and it's actually a journalist that said, "Hey, you want to get a picture while you're here? Act natural. Sit in that chair right there." He just did basically what people told him to do. And the cops were like, hey, you're fine. Just don't break anything. That's literally what they told him.
Wow.
And then he spends 3 months or so in a prison in D.C. where he gets served water with black mold in it. And his buddy gets beat up to where his face looks like hamburger. Wow. Like, that's what's happening to these people. And some of these people that were at the rally that served in the government or in the military got fired. And lost all their benefits. They served in the military for like 15, 20 years, and they just get fired just because they were part of a freedom rally. Yeah. That is racism at its core.
Oh,
I mean, that is
discrimination at its core.
That's discrimination.
Yeah. 100%.
It's just so sad to what these people have done for our country, and the left and these liberals just treat them like crap.
One thing that the January 6th taught me a lesson in is that there is no such thing as political freedom anymore in America, like political thought.
Wow. So true.
You just, if you're not in with the leftist agenda, with their political ideologies and thought, then you are an outsider. You're an outcast. You're a leper.
Yeah.
And everyone, people need to stay away from you. That's the vibe,
Yeah. I like how Rick said it in class a couple months back. He's like, we need both sides of the wings, both sides of the plane. We need right and we need left, but they need to come in more to the middle and be a little bit more centrist, because that's where the plane finds its balance.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like they're polarizing us on purpose.
Absolutely.
You
Divide
go way
and
over
conquer.
there.
Divide
You
and
go way
conquer.
over
Divide and
there.
conquer. Yep.
Yeah, it's
That's ancient.
It's
That's
ancient.
ancient
It's a
warfare
strategy.
tactics. Yep.
Yeah.
Satan's been at this a long time.
Yeah.
He's refined it. He's refined it. But on our watch, we're gonna fight
That's right.
till we die.
Let me say one more thing too. 3,000 Americans died in 9/11, roughly. 2,400 died in Pearl Harbor. 1 died here in January 6th, and it was a protester
Right.
from an American government official.
It wasn't a protester shooting a cop.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is a big stake.
Exactly. So my point is to compare January 6th to 9/11 or to Pearl Harbor is such a spit. You're just spitting on the graves of all those victims, those American victims that died. That is an absolute disgrace.
Yep.
Kamala Harris should, oh my goodness, she's the one that did that, and other Democrats and stuff like that. But that is just a disgrace. There's no comparison at all. You cannot compare that. And then Joe Biden comparing it to the Civil War. What are you talking about, Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Like that.
They're trying their best to make
Absolute disgrace.
right. They're disgracing, like you said, that what happened on 9/11.
Yep.
What happened at Pearl Harbor, this was nowhere near the same. I totally agree. It takes away from those days.
Yep.
This day was nothing like that.
The same people that call January 6th a riot and a deadly riot insurrection are the same people that call Antifa and BLM protests that burn down businesses, that kill people, drag people out of their vehicles and beat them, and set fires on stuff. They call those peaceful protests.
That's
and
right.
a right to protest. But yet the Capitol was a riot and insurrection.
Right.
Just shows you
That's
how,
right.
how deceived they are, how evil.
How disconnected they are, too,
Yeah.
to reality. But here's the thing. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good.
Yeah.
And we're living in those times right now. And that is why Lions Awaken is created, because we will call good good and we will call evil evil. It's that simple, black and white. And you need to find the courage to do the same if you don't have it already. So this is why we started this, is to awaken that courage to just call out truth and just to call it what it is.
That's right.
And I'm
An apple
preaching.
is an apple.
I'm not a preacher, but I'm preaching. But
That's
an
right.
apple is an
There you go.
apple.
Yeah.
And
So
an
agreed.
orange is an orange.
Now's not the time to be quiet.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's time to say what you want to say.
If we don't fight with our words, we will end up fighting with blood.
That's right.
And so, one good thing to leave on a positive note, the good thing we have going for us is that God is an avenger of evil and he's on our
Amen.
side. And
That's right.
Psalm says that the wicked will perish and the righteous will remain. So,
This
let's
is a,
stand on that,
amen. This
And
is a
we-
handicap match, baby. We're
That's
winning
right.
this. We're winning this.
and we will win in the end. Well, thank you, Rusty, for joining us
Yeah,
today
thank
and
you for
sharing your
having me.
story.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rusty.
And keep fighting the good fight.
Amen.
So,
Thank
all right, thanks for watching. And before you just listen to the mainstream media of what they say about January 6th, check out the facts and share this video. And remember, go on our website at lionsawaken.org, check out our new merch, and like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.